How's it going, guys? My name's Gus, and welcome back to part 2 of my ethnographic research vlogs, where I delve into an online internet celebrity, into their fan base, just to see what makes their fans tick, what makes their fans so loyal, and see if I become a fan myself. This week is Logan Paul, and I'm going to tell you something, it was a little bit different. So you all might be thinking, Gus, what makes this guy so different? He's pretty much got the same content as Dobrik, same platforms, same entire themes throughout all his videos. Well, compared to Dobrik, who I hadn't actually watched much of his content before, so I was going into that kind of blind. Logan Paul, however, I used to be a fan of way back in the Vine days. I know, who remembers Vine? Anyway, back in 2018, Logan Paul was doing a YouTube vlog and went into a Japanese forest when I was over there in Japan and filmed a dead body who this person had hung themselves. And instead of excluding that bit of footage from the vlog and ignoring it completely, he added it to the vlog, and he and his friends who were there with him even joked about it. After that happened, Logan Paul's internet career hit a huge speed bump. Apology videos just weren't enough, and he went quiet for a couple of years. After this happened, I did not like Logan Paul very much. I stopped watching his content, unfollowed all of him on all of his socials. And so that means going into this is not so much a what makes a Logan Paul fan and see if I become a fan. It's almost a redemption story now to see if his new content and the way he does things can surprise me and make me realize why so many people stuck by him. Now, I'll be the first to admit that the first 5 videos that I watched of Logan Paul's were very hard to sit through. I still had this negative emotion surrounding everything he did, all of what he said, his friends, the way he conducted himself. I was just kind of like remembering what he used to be on Vine and remembering this cocky man. But I'm going to say I had to try and open up my mind to see if this experiment would actually work. Right, so here's some various footage of me watching some of his vlogs. Thought I'd change locations every now and then to make it easier on myself. I also ended up having to go to the library to watch some of his stuff as well, because it took a lot longer to watch his things and try and understand it than I thought, especially compared to Dobrik. So this was interesting. I'm going to stick to this piece to camera kind of thing because I feel like it's much better to try and convey a point. Anyway, I'm just going to clarify why this took so much longer than it did for Dobrik. When I watched David Dobrik's content, I immediately started to get why he was so popular. I immediately started to get why his fans loved him, why he kept watching it. Logan Paul, on the other hand, because of all the negative emotions I have towards the man from previous actions he's done, it took many, many more videos and going really, really deep into his YouTube feed to try and finally understand or try and get some different emotion that wasn't hatred towards him, or just try and find out why people love him and why he has over 22 million YouTube subscribers. I think the count was 52 of his videos I watched compared to David Dobrik's 30. That's almost double, and it was very taxing and very insane. But I started to actually gain an insight. After 52 videos, there were 3 things that I began to notice as to why I think my opinion was slowly starting to turn. I still didn't like Logan Paul that much. I still didn't have a very high opinion of him. However, there are 3 things which I did notice. Number 1, the way he's very generous with his time and his money. Just like Dobrik, he gives away things, he gives away money, he goes and visits fans. He has a thing called a Maverick Club, where people can sign up and be a part of his club, get free merchandise, and also have the opportunity to meet him, have dinner with him, get invited to his house, which he does quite often. Number 2, the people he surrounds himself with are much better and almost less poisonous, which I feel like has boosted my impression of him and also the fans' impression of him, because he's much more honest and sincere now. And speaking of being sincere, the 3rd point is Logan Paul himself seems to have completely changed his personality from his Vine days. From what I've noticed, he's much more caring, much more sincere about everything he does, and his content is a little bit more wholesome and less sort of crowded and chaotic, which I think is much more pleasing to view. Despite watching all 52 videos that I did watch, I still wasn't grasping just what made Logan Paul so popular and what appealed to fans about his own personality, his content. I could see that it was sort of redeeming himself in my eyes a little bit, but I still didn't quite get it. So like any millennial, I took to Google, and funnily enough, it didn't have the answer I was looking for, so I gave up instantly. But then I thought there's an entire new avenue which I hadn't looked down yet. This avenue is Logan Paul's Maverick Club, which I've mentioned before briefly. What the Maverick Club is an opportunity for his fans to subscribe to his extra content. But in this Maverick Club, you have the potential to be in the draw for giveaways. Logan could come visit you, which he does. He could FaceTime you, which he does. He could text you, which he does. It's this promise that you could be included or he'll interact with you just for being a loyal fan that really stands out to me. As someone who didn't like him much at first, as I've started to watch and research what he does, I really start to get why people stick by him. It's the same with Dobrik. It's the same with Gary Vee. It's the same with all these other kind of YouTubers. They stay active with their audience. They stay active with their fans. And it makes their fans feel included, and it makes them feel wanted and makes them feel cared about, even though they've never met him. And it's a really, really interesting technique. And I'm actually starting to get why Logan Paul's so popular. All right. So what have I learned so far? What am I taking from this experience? And am I actually a fan yet? Now, for the most part, the question of whether I'm a fan or not was something which I was really struggling with. And I actually had to sleep on it. I spent a couple of days just keep watching his content, reviewing what he puts on his socials, and really thinking about my own experience. Because I was really struggling to see if I was becoming a fan. Yes, sure, I was experiencing and really seeing why other people were fans and how they reacted to him, but I still wasn't getting it on a personal level. I still wasn't feel like I had involved myself enough in his life and in his universe. That's when I realized I'd completely missed the point. Sure, I was struggling to become a Logan Paul fan myself. Yes, I was sleeping on it and not actually seeing why. I could not tell why I wasn't becoming a fan and why I wasn't liking his work more and more. But then I realized this is an ethnographic research about why people are so connected to Logan Paul, and it's seeing if I can become a fan. However, as I stated at the start of the video, I had a lot of negative stigma surrounding Logan Paul already, and sometimes that can be very hard to break. But what he has done is shown me that he has changed. His content has changed. The way he delivers himself has changed. And in my eyes, I feel like Logan Paul has actually redeemed himself a little bit. I might not be a fan, but I have learned why his fans are so loyal, what he does to make sure they're loyal, and really ensures that his own personal brand and his own vlogs live on throughout internet history as one of the biggest vloggers through the 21st century. So you've done it to me, Logan Paul. You started off here, you've ended up here. You've gained respect back. I enjoy your content. And I can see myself potentially becoming a fan down the track. You just gotta give me more time. Till next time, folks, that's it. Stay classy.